So R2 and I have an event coming up this week. It's a big event. It's the Air and Scare for 2023. And in preparation of that, I figured it would be time for me to maybe take apart his drives, give him a quick checkup, make sure that everything is tight. And while I'm at it, I'm actually going to go through the process of breaking down the drives and installing the Sonic Hub update here on the left as an additional upgrade from the metal flanges that I installed last year. Now, truth be told, I do not drive my R2 very aggressively, so I've never had any problems with these metal flanges, but some builders have reported that over time, even these can start to work themselves loose off of the drive shaft of the motor. So the Sonic hubs offer an even better grip strength on the motor shaft. So since I've got to take everything apart anyway, it kind of makes sense to go through and do that. So I've already taken the battery box off, and you can see that R2's been around the block a bit. He's showing some signs of wear. That's just natural weathering, but for the most part, that's all looking really good. I've already disconnected my motor wires so I can detach the foot fully. So let's move on with that, and let's see how things are looking. So as with everything, you're going to want to make sure that you give it a good visual inspection, especially in the high wear areas. The inserts here for the leg bolts are all looking pretty good. You are seeing some cracking in the paint over the magnets, but that's nothing to be concerned with. R2 is already starting to show some signs of wear, a little bit of dirt and grime. That's all just natural weathering. The foot shells overall are looking good. If we switch it around to the back, he's definitely, I spilled something somewhere along the line, but overall that's looking really good. The ankle support piece in there is looking really good. Yeah, so I think we're good to detach the drive and take a closer look at that. All right, now that we've got the drive separated, we can give this a close visual inspection. On this side here, everything is looking pretty good. This modified center axle piece that I installed last year is holding up really well, as are my steel axles. If we flip this around, the Omni wheels are still looking really good. One thing that I have noticed, though, is I am starting to see some cracking in this top shell piece. I'm not concerned for this upcoming event, but I think on the list of things to do for the coming year is probably going to be probably reprint these drives or consider something else. So that's a little bit alarming, but you know, these were printed probably a year and a half, 2 years ago, so that's really not that bad. Otherwise, it sure feels pretty strong and pretty sturdy. So let's open it up. Okay, so the breakdown is complete. This modified center axle piece is still looking good. The drive wheel itself is pretty dirty, but otherwise is looking good. But there is definitely some bad news. So first of all, when I opened them up, this fell out. This is one of the screws that holds the metal flange onto the drive gear. I didn't use Loctite. I'm not sure how easy it would be to be able to do that without touching the plastic with the stuff, but that fell out. But the bad news is that motor surround has completely cracked. This motor is not being held in place. This is definitely a problem, so I think I need to replace, well, this piece is actually this entire bottom frame piece. This is a crappy print anyway, but yeah, I don't think there's an easy way for me to fix this. If I were just to epoxy that together again, it's probably just a matter of time before it breaks again. So yeah, so good thing I took this apart. I should have enough time to print a new piece and get the drive reassembled in time for the event next Saturday. But yeah, that was unexpected. The Omni wheel is looking fine. I can take this assembly out here. It's a little bit dirty, but otherwise looking good. So yeah, so I guess I've got a little unexpected chore ahead of me for this week. So let me get to work on that. Okay, so with the new piece on the printer, I finished the breakdown of the drives, and I have now installed the drive gear with the Sonic hub. I did use Loctite on these bolts that fasten the Sonic hub to the drive gear, and that should be really good to go. So while I'm at it, since I am going to go ahead and reprint this big frame, I am going to go ahead and reprint one of these and just rebuild the whole drive, and should be good to go for the event. So I guess the lesson learned here is make sure that you give your droids an inspection from time to time, and don't just assume that everything is going to last forever. So these are, after all, plastic. No matter which material you use, it is just plastic after all. So be sure to keep a close eye on things. So let's let these parts finish up and then rebuild the drive. All right, so it's a few hours later. I've got the brand new part, and wow, what a difference in print quality. I haven't really mentioned much about my Prusa XL since I set it up and started using it, but the print quality is just night and day from what I was used to before. The Z-banding on my artillery was pretty bad, and the Prusa is just printing beautifully. So it's actually even respectable in this little angled part that was horrible on the last ones. Just a complete night and day difference. So I did end up also printing out the other side of the frame, and as much as I would like to reprint a lot of these dirty and nasty pieces, I think I'm just going to get this thing back together since I am up against a bit of a time crunch. But this is going to be much better, much improved, and should be good for at least another year. All right, so everything is just about put back together, but I did want to mention real quick a little tip for attaching these bolts here. On this side, you can see that the nuts sit pretty flush, so it's really easy just to hold your finger over that and then tighten the bolt in there. But these guys, the nuts actually drop way down inside there, and it gets to be a real challenge when you're trying to tighten the bolt from this side, and having the nut in here just raise up. So real simple, easy trick. Get yourself a standard Allen key and just angle that in there and just apply some pressure to the nut. And that's it. Really easy. I don't know. Maybe it's occurred to all the other builders out there, but for me, it was an annoyance that I finally had an aha moment and realized that that would solve my problem. So let me finish buttoning this back together and then take a look at all the new parts. All right, it is all put back together. So no more nasty cracks there. Our motor is clearly held in place now. No problems there. One thing that I will have to address at some point was I did finish and paint these top surfaces here, because this is what you can see at the top of the foot shell. I will need to at some point just shoot a little bit of white paint on there so that it matches. But I'm not worried about that for this event. If there's one thing I've noticed running R2 for a couple of years is that people don't notice these things, only the builders do. So I think we're in pretty good shape here. So yeah, I honestly, I did not expect to find the broken parts when I took this apart. I thought it was basically going to be a video about updating to the Sonic hubs. But this was an important lesson learned. Stuff breaks. That's just a fact of owning and operating an astromech. So this is, I think, a really good reminder to every once in a while take things apart and check them out. Make sure that things are still holding up well, and replace parts if you need to. That's one of the best things about a 3D printed droid is if you need new parts, chances are really good you can just make them. So anyway, this was an unexpected update, but an update nonetheless. So thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you next time.